Have you ever thought about why lifting a book feels like hard work, yet carrying it without moving seems easy? Or why pushing a heavy box across the room makes you feel exhausted, but simply holding it doesn't? Today, we are diving into the fascinating world of work and energy, exploring how these concepts play out in our everyday lives and in the realm of physics. There is a difference in the way we use the term work in day to day life and the way we use it in science. Work is about moving things. Pushing a rock with all your strength does not count as work if it does not move. Climbing stairs counts as work because you are moving yourself and going against gravity. In the world of science, we cannot base our explanations on perception. All the words must be properly defined using clear terms and parameters for which all agree. So let us first understand what work actually means in the world of physics. In scientific terms, work is defined as the measure of energy transfer that occurs when an object is moved by an external force along a displacement. It is the product of the force acting on the object and the distance it is moved in the direction of the force. Work is equal to force, denoted by F, into displacement, denoted by S. For work to occur, two key conditions must be satisfied. 1. There must be an application of force on the object. 2. The object must be displaced in the direction of the force. Let's look at some examples to clarify. For instance, when you go bowling, you apply force to the bowling ball and it rolls down the lane. Similarly, when you pull a trolley filled with vegetables at the market, you're doing work as you move it forward. So always remember in science, work is done when a force moves an object a certain distance. However, it is considered no work done if carrying a heavy load without moving it, even if it makes you tired. We will discuss it mathematically to understand why no work done is considered in this case. Let's take a look at mathematical expression of work. Work done depends upon two things which are force and the displacement. Work done is equal to force into displacement in the direction of force. The SI unit of work is joule, denoted by J. For example, if you push a box with a force of 10 newtons and it moves 5 meters, you can calculate work done as follows. W is equal to F into S is equal to 10 into 5, which equals to 50 joules. Therefore, the work done is 50 joules. It is now easier to comprehend why carrying a heavy load without moving is considered as doing no work according to physics. Much like how a statue seller who bears the weight of his goods on his head all day. It is because since the goods are on his head and are stationary, they are not moving, therefore, the distance covered is zero. Now, what happens when we apply force at an angle? If we try to apply vertical force on a block and it moves horizontally, we need to consider how this affects the work done. In scientific terms, work is defined as the measure of energy transfer that occurs when an object is moved by an external force along a displacement. Work is defined by two numerical parameters as seen from the definition. First is force. Second is displacement in the direction of force. If the displacement is not along the direction of the applied force, then no work is done. Imagine a scenario where instead of pushing the box horizontally or vertically, you decide to push it at an angle of theta degrees upward from the horizontal direction. Complete force isn't causing the displacement. Only a small part of the force, F into cos theta, is responsible for the motion. To find the value of this part of force, we use the angle between force and displacement. Therefore, we can mathematically express work as F into S into cos theta, where F is equal to force, S is equal to displacement, and theta is equal to angle between F and S. Let's take a look at an example. If you are pushing a box at an angle of 60 degrees from the horizontal direction, the box moves 5 meters horizontally, but now the angle between the force and the displacement is 60 degrees. W is equal to F into S into cos theta, where F is equal to 10 newtons, S is equal to 5 meters, and cos 60 degrees is equal to zero point 0.5. Therefore, work done is equal to 10 into 5 into zero point 0.5 is equal to 25 joules. Now, let's talk about the types of work done. Work done can be positive, negative, or even zero depending on the angle between the force and displacement. Positive work is when theta lies between 0 to 90 degrees, zero work is when theta is equal to 90 degrees, and negative work is when theta is greater than 90 degrees. For example, a gardener pushes a lawn roller through a distance, applying a force at an acute angle to the ground which results in positive work done. We can take a look at zero work done when the theta is 90 like in this case. Conversely, if you lift a book and place it back on the same shelf without moving it horizontally, the work done is zero because there's no net displacement in the direction of the force applied. For a body moving in a circular path, the work done by the centripetal force is zero since the force is perpendicular to the displacement. Now let's discuss negative work. Whenever theta is obtuse, the work done is negative. The work done by the applied force is positive, while the work done by the frictional force is negative, as the frictional force works opposite to the direction of displacement. Work done is maximum when the angle is 0 degrees, that is, force and displacement are both in the exact same direction. Some values of cosine include cos 0 degrees is equal to 1, cos 30 degrees is equal to root 3 by 2, cos 45 degrees is equal to 1 by root 2, cos 60 degrees is equal to a half, cos 90 degrees is equal to 0, and cos 180 degrees is equal to -1. Now, what is energy? An object having the capability to do work is said to possess energy. Hence, the energy of an object is defined as its capacity of doing work. Energy of an object is measured by the total amount of work done by the object. The unit of energy is the same as the unit of work. So, the SI unit of energy will be joule, J. Energy can be divided into two types, kinetic energy and potential energy. Kinetic energy of an object is the energy possessed by it by virtue of its state of motion. The formula for kinetic energy is Ek is equal to half mv squared, where Ek is the kinetic energy, m is the mass of the object, and v is the velocity of the object. Potential energy possessed by an object is the energy present in it by virtue of its position or configuration. Gravitational potential energy is the energy required to lift an object against gravity, calculated using the formula E is equal to mgh. According to the law of conservation of energy, we can neither create nor destroy energy. Energy can change forms while the total energy remains constant due to the law of conservation of energy, a fundamental law of nature. To illustrate this, consider a pendulum. At the highest point of swing, the pendulum has maximum potential energy and no kinetic energy. At point A, the pendulum has maximum kinetic energy. At point B, kinetic energy converts to potential energy. At point C, kinetic energy changes back to potential energy. Finally, let's talk about the rate of doing work or power. The rate of doing work or the rate of transfer of energy is known as power. Power means the speed with which a machine does work or the speed at which a machine supplies energy. The SI unit of power is a watt. 1 watt is defined as 1 joule per second. Average power is calculated by dividing the total energy consumed, or total work done, by the total time taken. For electrical energy used in households and commercial industrial establishments, we generally use a bigger unit of energy, which is known as 1 kilowatt-hour, 1 kilowatt-hour. 1 kilowatt-hour is equal to 3600 joules. In conclusion, we explored the essential concepts of work and energy, including how work is defined, the circumstances under which it occurs, different types of work, and the significance of energy in doing work. Understanding these principles can help us grasp the fundamental laws of physics that govern our everyday activities. We hope that you have understood the topic. You can now study chapter notes, watch video lectures, and solve MCQ tests of this chapter on EduRev to ensure you score well in your school exams. And that's not all. You also get amazing courses for maths, science, English, Hindi, and much more for class 9. Thank you.